Well, President Trump now touting tremendous progress tonight on a peace plan to end the Russia-Ukraine war. The question is, where do negotiations go from here? Let's bring in Fox News contributors Kyron Skinner and Dan Hoffman. Thank you both for coming on. I want to play some sound. This is General Jack Keane. He believes that Russia is kind of waiting this out, Dan, and I'll get your take. Watch.
Russia has not made, Martha, one concession in all of these negotiations. Not one. And why is that? Because he has always believed time is on his side.
Is time on his side, Dan?
Well, actually, I think Russia's really suffered massive casualties here. Vladimir Putin has spilled an inordinate amount of blood and treasure in this war on Ukraine. I just don't think that Putin's objectives have changed, and I would agree with General Keane about that. Vladimir Putin wants to overthrow the democratically elected government of Ukraine. He's not going to accept any deal that doesn't allow him to do that, whether now or in the near term. He also wants to emphasize Russia's primacy in his own self-designated sphere of influence. And he also doesn't want the United States to project power into Europe. He doesn't want the Trump administration to get a win for a peace deal. He wants to show that Russia can thumb its nose at us. That's what he's done so far. They've made no concessions so far. Yep. Ukraine has agreed to a ceasefire. Russia has not.
Trump says that Russia has made concessions. Here's what he said.
Well, they're talking about going land both ways and trying to clean up a border. You know, you can't go through the middle of a house. You can't go through the middle of a highway. So they're trying to work something. It's a complicated process. Doesn't go that quickly.
I mean, they could fight for more land. Kyron, what do you think?
I don't really think they're going to fight for more land, but Monday and Tuesday have been brutal days for Ukraine. They've been just pummeled by drones and missiles against critical infrastructure, civilian infrastructure, energy infrastructure. Lives have been lost in Ukraine. So Russia hasn't given up. But I just disagree a little bit with General Keane. I think that Putin can't wait this out. Okay. We've already mentioned that the economy is bad, the loss of life that Dan Hoffman just mentioned.
Right.
According to some reports, it's 1,000 a day killed or maimed. We also see low oil prices due heavy sanctions. The central bank in Russia is very nervous and concerned.
As they ought to be, right?
And less than 1% economic growth this year. How long can this go on? And if in 2026 they start a new round of military mobilization, will the Russian people want it?
Here's Zelensky with, the European leaders. He said the following.
I'm ready to meet with President Trump. And there are sensitive points to discuss. We have them still. And we think that the presence of European leaders could be helpful. And let's discuss some key issues today in a closed format.
He's ready, Dan, because what alternative does Volodymyr Zelensky have?
He's always been ready, Trey. Look, Vladimir Putin launched this war, this barbaric invasion of Ukraine. It's Russia that could stop it. And look, I'm sorry that I'm a pessimist here. I spent many years in Russia and spent much of my CIA career trying to see the world through the twisted KGB eyes of Vladimir Putin. There is zero evidence that Russia wants to end the war. Zero evidence that Russia wants a ceasefire. So I guess I'll believe it when I see it, but I just don't see it right now. I'm sorry to say that. The Trump administration should be lauded for trying, but I don't expect us to see the results.
30 seconds, Karen. What do you think?
Well, it's not that I'm optimistic about Russia, but a time does come when wars have to end. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan ended very poorly for Russia in the past, but also we see something in the Trump administration that I haven't seen as a former Trump official before under Donald Trump. He's doing a level of Nixon-Kissinger-like shuttle diplomacy in Kyiv, Abu Dhabi, Geneva, everywhere. He's got his top lieutenants deployed, and they're working in concert. Putin has himself.
Right. Kyron, Dan, thank you both.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.